Okay, why does everyone suddenly forget math when we start talking about peptides? Well, let's fix that because peptide dilutions and blends are not that confusing once you kind of get used to or understand this sort of geometry of the vial, if you will. So I'm Dr. Christy. I have a PhD in molecular oncology and I love breaking down peptides to make it simplified. So here's the deal. A peptide vial is just basically a container that's holding a certain mass of powder, the peptide. When you add water to that, you're not changing the amount of peptide, you're just changing the concentration depending on how much volume of water you add. So think of it like this. If you were to take a packet of drink mix and dump this into a cup of water, let's say you dumped it into 8 ounces of water or you dumped it into 16 ounces of water, the mass of drink mix that you add always stays the same. The water is changing. And so that's going to change this sort of flavor of the water, right? It's going to be a little bit less concentrated when you add more water. So let's say the peptide vial has 5 milligrams of peptide and you add 1 milliliter of water. The concentration is 5 milligrams per milliliter. If you add 2 milliliters, that's 2.5 milligrams per milliliter. The total peptide in here never changed. You're just stretching it across a bigger volume. So here's where people really lose their heads, which is with blends. When you have multiple peptides in the same vial, adding water doesn't mix them into like a new mysterious molecule. Each peptide is going to keep its own amount and its own concentration within that vial. So if a vial contains peptide A at 5 milligrams and peptide B at 5 milligrams, and then you add 2.5 milliliters of water, each one now has a concentration of 2.5 milligrams per milliliter. So they coexist. They don't magically merge into something else. They're still peptide A and peptide B mixed together. So it's basically like taking two different drink mixes and putting them in the same pitcher, right? They share that same water and each one has its own flavor strength based on how much powder you started with. When you understand that, the key is mass divided by volume. Suddenly, the whole dilution world stops feeling like peptide sorcery and starts feeling just like middle school math. You're literally just dividing two numbers. Now, of course, this is for educational purposes only, but I hope that clears up what's actually happening when you reconstitute these vials. Single peptides, blends, it's basically all the same. Whatever mass we start with is still going to be in there. And let me know if you want me to break this down with any visuals or any other way because I'm trying to make it as simple as possible.